boy listens to stories by a fire under the stars. The outback air was soft and smelled of eucalyptus, like a giant, sleepy koala was breathing nearby. Jarra snuggled deeper into his kangaroo skin blanket, the crackling fire painting dancing shadows on his face. Tonight, the stars seemed especially close, like diamonds scattered across a velvet cloth, close enough to touch if you reached out just so. His grandmother, Nana Mera, sat beside him, her face etched with the stories of the land. She hummed a low, gentle tune, a song older than the mountains, older than the oldest gum trees. Jarra loved these nights by the fire, listening to Nana Mera's Dreamtime stories. But tonight, something felt different. Tonight, Jarra felt distracted. The other kids in his class had new video games, games that showed amazing things, impossible things. They talked about them all the time, their voices buzzing with excitement. Jarra wished he could join in, wished he had those games too. He fidgeted, pulling at a loose thread on his blanket. The stars, usually so captivating, seemed dim and far away, less interesting than the glowing screens his friends described. Nana Mera's voice, warm and comforting as the fire, began a new story. Long ago, she said, when the world was still young, the great rainbow serpent shaped the land. Her scales shimmered with all the colors of the dawn, and her movements carved out the rivers and valleys. Jarra tried to listen. He really did. But his mind kept wandering back to those video games. He imagined himself piloting a spaceship, exploring alien planets, battling strange creatures. Compared to that, the rainbow serpent seemed old, boring even. He sighed, a small, quiet sound that was almost lost in the crackling fire. But Nana Mera heard him. She paused her story, her eyes as deep and knowing as the night sky, turning towards him. "What troubles you, little Joey?" she asked, her voice gentle. Jarra hesitated. He felt a little ashamed to admit it, but he blurted out, "Nana, the stories, they're nice, but they're not like the stories everyone else tells. They don't have lasers and robots and adventures that go on forever." Nana Mera didn't say anything for a long moment. The only sound was the whisper of the wind through the gum trees and the soft pop of the fire. Then she reached out and took Jarra's hand, her touch grounding and familiar. "Jarra," she said softly, "our stories are not just stories. They are the map of our ancestors, the songlines of our people. They are the memory of the land itself." She pointed to the Milky Way, a shimmering river of stars stretching across the sky. "See those stars, Jarra? They are telling stories too. Stories of the first people, of their journeys, their struggles, and their triumphs." She explained that the Dreamtime stories were more than just entertainment. They were lessons about respect, about living in harmony with nature, about honoring those who came before. They were the key to understanding his place in the world, his connection to the land and his people. Jarra looked at the stars again, but this time he saw them differently. He tried to imagine the stories they held, the ancient wisdom whispered on the wind. He closed his eyes and pictured his ancestors walking the same land, under the same stars, sharing the same stories. Nana Mera began a new story, this one about the 7 sisters, a constellation that told of courage and sisterhood. As she spoke, Jarra listened intently, his imagination painting vivid pictures in his mind. He saw the sisters fleeing across the sky, chased by a determined hunter, their laughter echoing through the cosmos. He realized that the Dreamtime stories weren't just old tales. They were living stories, stories that continued to evolve and resonate with each generation. They were stories that connected him to something bigger than himself, something ancient and powerful. He thought about the video games again, the flashing lights and endless adventures. They seemed empty now. They lacked the depth, the meaning, the connection to something real. He understood that the real adventures were here, in the land around him, in the stories of his people, in the wisdom of his Nana Mera. He snuggled closer to her, feeling a surge of pride in his heritage. He was an Aboriginal boy, a descendant of the oldest culture on Earth, and he had stories worth more than any video game. As the fire began to die down, casting long, sleepy shadows, Jarra felt a sense of peace settle over him. The stars seemed to twinkle just for him, whispering secrets on the breeze. He knew that he would never forget the stories of his ancestors, the stories that were etched into the land and written in the stars. Nana Mera hummed her gentle tune, and Jarra closed his eyes, the image of the rainbow serpent and the 7 sisters dancing in his mind. He drifted off to sleep, dreaming of the Dreamtime, of the ancient land, and of the stars telling stories. He knew deep in his heart that these stories would always be with him, guiding him, protecting him, and connecting him to the spirit of his people. The scent of eucalyptus filled his dreams, and the sound of the crackling fire faded into the quiet whisper of the wind.